welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, May 15th, 2015. I'm Lafern Fraser with the details. Health psychologist at the Milton Cater Memorial Hospital, Dr. Joselle Miller, is advising persons to pay closer attention to anyone around them speaking of suicide. In an interview with SVG-TV television, Dr. Miller says these threats should never be taken lightly, as it may be a cry for help. This comes in light of reports that 5 youngsters here have died over the last 5 months of the year as a result of consuming a poisonous substance. Dr. Miller says many, especially young people, are facing what she described as social stressors, which are pushing them over the edge.
Whenever it is said, even if it is said in joke, look at it as a cry for attention and cry for help, and you have to try and assist as best as you can. I think we have a society of young persons who don't take the time to talk about issues. Persons grow up thinking that they have to fight battles on their own, seemingly. The whole idea of counseling and psychology is still new, so people don't see the need that they can come and talk about whatever issues they may be confronted with. We have a lot of persons with social stressors, unemployed, they might be abusing drugs, substances. You might find that they have some dysfunctional home environment, and so many things can add up. And you get to a place almost as if it's a volcanic eruption, that things have been added on for years and slighted and just simply pushed under the rug, and then you get to a place where I can't take it anymore. It's a breaking point.
The health psychologist further states that signs of depression and other mood swings seen in a person should not be taken for granted, and that the necessary help should be sought immediately.
Whether or not this individual has now isolated themselves, if this individual is preoccupied with the whole idea of death and they have been talking about death very casually, it could be casual, you want to zone in on that and ask, what is it? If you plan to kill yourself, how would you do it? Because one of the things you have to check is whether there is a distinct plan. If there is a plan and the person can say that, okay, at this particular time I'm going to do it, you have to check whether or not there's accessibility to whatever method they would have, outlined. If they say I'm going to drink Gramazone, that is what we have been hearing a lot of lately. And you know for a fact that this is a farming family and they have access to Gramazone, don't slight it. You want to listen for the intent. What is the intention? Why would you want to end your life?
And as the University of the West Indies Open Campus, St. Vincent and the Grenadines takes steps to expand its facility, this country's Prime Minister is calling for an addition to the institution's new development project. Delivering the feature address at the launch of the UWI Open Campus Development Project on Thursday, Prime Minister Gonsalves says his government is interested in partnering further with the institution to have in place science laboratories for biology, chemistry and physics to supplement what already exists as the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College.
Because the community college has to work with this. And in the not too distant future, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College may become a college of the University of the West Indies. Discussions are now going on. It's on the table. I'll come to say a little bit about that in a short while. But whether or not the community college becomes the college of the University of the West Indies, clearly we can't have 2 post-secondary institutions in the country having a suicide pact. They have to work with one another. They have to be properly integrated and so on and so forth. So that's very important.
Dr. Gonsalves says such an addition is important since only 0.3% of students at the UWI enroll for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics or STEM courses.
We can't, in this modern world, have the open campus simply as reflecting only certain disciplines. I'm sure we can, in the same way we do first-year social sciences through the open campus system, and that we do degrees in humanities and and in the social sciences. My executive secretary is a graduate of the Open Campus. She did her bachelor's degree in management. She got a very good education here. I happen to know that. I interact with her on a daily basis, and I'm in a position to judge the quality of a person's education with whom I'm working. But we need to have people doing their sciences and maths. They can do the first year here.
Meanwhile, Dr. Gonsalves says the increased access to STEM courses will not only empower Vincentians in general, but will specifically be empowering to women. The Prime Minister says, according to statistics, about 70% of the students in the UE system and 84% in the open campus system are women.
But in the field of engineering, which is offered only at the St. Augustine campus, 37% of the enrollment are women and 60-odd% are men. And in the case of science and technology, university-wide, it's 53% women, still more than men. But when you look at the programs in law and medicine and so on, which are in the 70s, and in the social sciences, you can see that in those areas, women, of course, they're holding their own in the science and technology area, but they're still below the 50% mark in engineering. In any event, we need more persons in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And if we're doing this facility, given the base which we have set in other areas, we need to do it to advance it.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade, Commerce and Information Technology, in collaboration with the SVG Coalition of Service Industries, will be hosting Services Week from May 18th to 22nd, 2015, under the theme Building Capacity of Trade and Services. The main objectives of the week would be to update stakeholders on the development in trade and services, to educate Vincentians about the importance of services to the economy, and to equip the service providers with the necessary knowledge on how to leverage the various trade agreements. The program of activities will start with a 2-day workshop commencing on Monday at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Conference Room. The workshop will seek to assist participants with a greater understanding of trade in services and how to take advantage of the trade opportunities both regionally and internationally. The workshop will begin at 9 a.m. and concludes at 4 p.m. over the 2-day period. The pressure is now off the local grade 6 students who today wrote the Caribbean Primary Exit Assessment, or CPEA. Over the 1,800 students wrote the exams at 17 centers across SVG, where a number of their anxious parents waited outside. When our SVG-TV News team visited some of these centers in Kingstown earlier today, many of the parents said they spent hours giving their children practice sessions and did their best to ensure that they were ready for the exams, which included multiple choice in mathematics, English, and science.
They do their best and come out on top. Especially my child, Vanisha Woods.
Total confident because I see the school and the parents, everybody into this exam. Yes.
How did you help her to study? Well, I don't really do the studying with her sister. They did studying her grandmother, teachers, and everybody.
I feel very confident that Azia will do extremely well because she was well prepared. I think prep school did an excellent job, and I work very hard with her on evenings after work, so I think she will do extremely well.
Happy that it's finished. I know some of the children were under some real pressure, but I'm glad that it's all over, and I wish all the children, including mine, all the children well. I hope that they did well and they get you to go to the school of their desire.
The news team also got the opportunity to speak with some of the children after the exams. Here are their thoughts.
The test for me was surprisingly easy, and I know I did well. But the science and the maths was easy, but the language arts was most ticklish for me. The maths was very easy. The science was a little challenging, but the language arts, it was not difficult. And I want to thank my teachers and my parents for helping me through this day. The exam was kind of challenging, but the language arts and the maths was kind of easy, but the science was a little bit challenging to me. The maths was kind of tricky for me, some parts of the maths, and the science held me up a little bit, but it was good. The maths was kind of easy, but the language arts and the maths was easy, but the science was challenging. I didn't find anything challenging at all, and I know I did well because I'm confident in myself. But for me, science was the easiest out of everything. So
the exam was easy. I did it well, but the math was a little challenging for me.
And I feel very relieved from all the studying and the project, and it was very easy. But the math was the easiest.
Mathematics was a little challenging, and the science. But I really do well, and I want my mommy and my daddy to be proud of me.
So it was easy, but science was kind of hard, but I liked it. And God for keeping me up and not keeping me scared as I was before the days. I believe my mom was very nervous for me, but I hope she overcome the fear.
Which section did you find challenging? Nothing at all?
Well, the science was challenging. I feel that I'm going to pass and get the highest mark than everybody. So that's how I feel.
When I finish the maths, I make sure to check over it, and language, I check over it three times. And when I finish, I just start there and relax myself till ready for the next one.
My parents for giving me the confidence I need to do this exam, and that I will go and I stop school like my bigger sister.
Thank you to the Heavenly Father for giving me the strength, knowledge and everything, Lord. Confidence.
I think the science was a little bit challenging, but the maths and the language was good. I feel very good, and it's like a load off of my shoulder because it's very hard preparing for it, doing all that schoolwork and studying day and night. So I feel good.
As of Monday, May 18th, 2015, none of the draws of the various games by the National Lotteries Authority will be carried on SVG-TV. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Broadcasting Corporation was so informed of the NLA's decision to discontinue broadcasts on SVG-TV through correspondence from the authority's Product Development Officer, Anthony Denny. The draws that have been pulled from broadcast on national television include 3D, Play 4, and Super 6. No reason was given for the decision to have the draws broadcast only on VC3. A renewal of the Nurses' Pledge and a candlelight service was held yesterday afternoon at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital by the SVG Nurses Association in celebration of Nurses Week. Featured speaker at the event, Pastor Dr. George Frederick, urged the nurses to remain strong and focused since their job as healthcare providers can be physically exhausting and mentally demanding. He told them as nurses they have the power to bring about the much-needed change in the local healthcare system.
Change is taking place. It's happening gradually. You see what is happening? We live in an instant generation. We want things. No, be the change for the better. You'll be both glad and sad. And that's the whole process of acquiring a career, of pursuing a career. Something the process. When you have to deal with supervisor number 1 and supervisor number 2 and others, it can be taxing to you. It's wearying. It looks exacting, but that's the process. In the morning, you'll be both glad and sad. Glad that you learned along the way, but sad that you didn't take more time to pick up more information.
President of the SVG Nursing Association, Inol Smart, says that nurses are the backbone of the healthcare system and their value cannot be overemphasized.
Should nurses cease to be, even for a short period of time, the health services in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and in many countries would come to a halt or at least be seriously affected. Nurses are in the front line, so to speak, of the healthcare delivery system. Nurses are the ones who hear the cry of the patients in the dead of night, when other professional groups are sound asleep in their beds. They are the ones who trek through remote communities to ensure that each and every child is immunized. They are the ones who are on duty 24 hours. With this in mind, the value of the nurse cannot be overemphasized. Nurses are indeed the backbone of the health system.
And in relation to policy making, Smart says that in order for there to be more efficiency in healthcare, nurses must be involved in policy and decision making. She says there is room for a closer collaboration between the nurses and the management of the healthcare service, which can result in better management of resources.
Nurses deal with life and death situations, and they have knowledge and experience in improving healthcare through helping to shape effective health policy. Yet, nurses are having trouble getting this message to policymakers. And in many countries, nurses have not played or been given the opportunity to have an active role in the policy process. The nursing gap in policy involvement can be a major barrier to nursing effectiveness, health team functioning, and quality of care. Some evidence suggests that nurses waste time and energy solving problems of supply and equipment needed in their day-to-day patient care that could be easily addressed through management support and nursing involvement in policy and decision making.
And this Sunday, a special Nurses Appreciation Service will be held at the Lourdes Deliverance Baptist Church to conclude Nurses Week. Chief Nursing Officer Peggy De Silva says the service is a way of showing support and will assist in the strengthening of nurses as they carry out their duties. De Silva says members of the general public are also invited to the church service, which she says is one that is greatly anticipated and appreciated by all the nurses of SVG.
First, I'd like to extend my sincere gratitude and appreciation to Pastor and Mrs. Cupid for expressing so tangibly their appreciation for nurses. We want to thank them very much. This is the 8th year that they are showing their appreciation for nurses in this way by providing a nursing appreciation service. And they usually bring it on every January, but this year, seeing that the 12th of May is International Nurses Day, I requested of them if they could have this service within International Nurses Day week of activities, and they gladly consented to that, and hence we will be having the service. It will greatly boost their motivation, their morals, and we greatly appreciated of it. It's good when somebody can show their appreciation in a tangible way for nurses, because every day we're going out to work and a lot of nurses get beaten up on for different reasons.
Representative of the Deliverance Baptist Church, First Lady Violent Cupid, says the church saw the need to host such an event to give recognition to the dedication and sacrifices that are being made by all nurses serving the country.
Because our nurses are hardworking, dedicated, and it's time that someone come out in the open and say thank you to our nurses for all what they're doing for us in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Our nurses are human beings. They need our support, they need our prayers, they need our help. So that is why we, the pastor and members of the Deliverance Baptist Church, take this opportunity to appreciate our nurses for the hard work that they're doing.